Yeah, so yesterday we were mainly discussing on the range function, right? So yeah, let's see. For example, if I print, for example, range of 6 comma 10 comma 3, what will I get? Any answers, please? Yeah, so if I print like 6 comma 10 comma 3, what will be the result?
6 9.
Okay, 6 9. Everybody good with that? Okay, so yeah, so if I print for I range of 16 3. Right. Yes, correct, Meghna. And also we have seen list of range of 6 comma 10 comma 3 will directly give you in the list. Okay, so that's fine. So we have we have seen like enough examples on range functions. Now what we are going to see here is next the topic is flow control. Okay, so yeah. See, next fundamental topic, okay, is loops in Python. See, initially, first, if we try to understand, right? So, loops, what is the use of loops and different types of loops? Okay. Simply speaking, how much, see, what all we are doing is we are writing code, right? We are writing code. But many a times, we want to reuse the code. Okay, writing code is one way. So you're writing 10 lines of code, right? But sometimes what happens is we want to use specific lines of code. Okay, we want to use these 3 lines of code again and again. Okay, so instead of writing them again and again, instead of spending time, effort, memory, computer resources multiple times, where you want to do the same task but with a small change, right? You don't need to write it multiple times, right? So if you think smartly, so you can just iterate through it multiple times so that each time you can access this with a small change, right? So for the code reusability, what is loop? Loop is simply in normal English language meaning also, it means the same thing, right? So loop, you are doing the same thing again and again. So here also many a times you need to do the same thing again and again. Like how? So for example, if you want to take the sum of 1 to 100, right? That means you want to add a number, okay, to its next number, that means this is also a kind of loop, right? So you are just iterating, okay, through each number, and every time you are increasing one number. Okay, so one way is you can simply do 1 place 2 place 3 like that. If you keep on doing, you will get 100. Okay, that is fine, that is a hard way to learn. But the smart way is just, if you think, every number will go to next number by increasing one. So if you just put a loop like I plus 1, that means every time you change I, this value changes. If I is 0, this is 1. If I is 1, this is 2. If I is 2, this is 3. So in this simple way, you can loop through this I 100 times, and each time you will get a new number and you can start adding this. Okay, so that's the usage of loops, right? In simple way to understand is for the code reusability. That's why you want to use the loops. If the code is extremely different from each other, you will not loop it, right? Because let's say you have a code and there are two parts of code which are very different from each other, right? Then there is no concept of loops. Okay, code one you want to run, you need to write it completely. Again, code 2, you need to write it completely, okay, because then there will be no concept of loops. But if you want to use code 1 10 times with a small changes, if you want to use code 2 20 times with small change, then you will loop through it, and then again you need to loop through it. Okay, so this is a basic high level understanding, and we will see different types of loops and everything in detail. Okay, and after this, once we understand something about loops, okay, it's not always code reusability. Okay, but sometimes, let's say you have this code. Okay, this is a code you have written, and let's say this is line 1, line 2, like that. You will have line 100. So one thing is code reusability, that means you can use the same lines of code again and again. Second thing is you can have some control over the code. That means what? You don't want to run all 100 lines of code every time. Okay, based upon a condition, you want to skip some lines of code and again include some lines of code. Let's say you want to run L1, L2, and from 30 to 35 you want to skip, right? Based upon a condition, whatever you are getting till line number 29, based upon that input, you want to skip this. And if the desired input you are getting at line number 29, you are not going to skip 30 to 35, or but you are going to skip from 55 to 60, something like that. Okay, that means to have the control and to skip few records. Okay, because you will have the control in your hands based upon that. Okay, based upon some condition, you want to skip some lines of code, or you can just come execute few lines of code and just come out of this code. Okay, so let's say you are having like 100 lines of code, you want to execute only till line 30. Okay, till line 30, and after that you just want to skip all the lines below that, and you just want to come out of this particular code and you want to execute another code 2. Okay, just coming out of that particular code. Okay, you can do this. So basically, you will have the complete control over the code. You can use the code multiple times if you want, or you can conditionalize the code and run only some lines of code based upon a condition and skip other. Or, you know as I said, you can come out of that particular code. Okay, so like that, there are like different types of ways how you can control this, right? And based upon the purposes, right? So broadly, loops are divided into three types. Okay, so I hope you got the basic idea, like just the basic idea, like what does loops mean, right? So but once we discuss each loop in detail, then you will have good picture. Okay, see, at high level, so I hope you guys agree with me. Yeah, so at high level, loops are divided into three types: conditional, iterative, transfer. Okay, so in conditional you have if elif, if else. Okay, based upon a condition, this will run. Okay, that means if this condition is true, run this, else run that. Okay, like that, it's based upon a condition. Secondly, iterative. Okay, here you will not give any condition, but you just want to loop through it for fixed number of times, or as long as a particular task is achieved, or in a given sequence, something like that. But the concept here is to loop through it. Okay, that's why these are called, this is for loop, this is while loop. Okay, so this is just iterative, so it will not on a specific condition, but it will iterate through given range or given sequence or given list or given numbers. So these are iterative. Third thing is transfer. So this is break, continue, pass. Okay, so these are transfer control statements, because break will actually break the control, like break the flow, and it will come out of that. Continue will also transfer the control. to the next command. Okay, we will see what does this mean. Okay, but this will these are not conditional, these are not iterative, these are transfer, because the control will get transferred when you use break, right? The control will completely come out of that particular loop. When you use continue, the control skips that particular loop. Okay, we will see. And pass is like just like a placeholder. Okay, but we will see what is this. Oh, Meghana, we are again waiting. Yeah, hello, Meghana. Yeah, Meghana, are you facing any network issues?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So did you follow like when I was explaining these three, or like wait, I didn't say like when you got disconnected.
I followed, sir, up to here.
Okay, great. So now these three are the complete control statements in Python. Okay, so if you are good with these, right? So I would definitely say your work will be very very easy as far as Python is concerned, because Python at high level it will be like just three four concepts, guys. One will be loops, one will be data types, and sometimes oops, and what else? That's it. Nothing, and remaining all small concept of typecasting, etc., etc. But high level, if you want to be very good at Python, I would say loops are the one of the important things, and uh, understanding the data types is a second thing. Okay, but that's why loops are very very important. Okay, so at high level, these are the all loops. So these will cover the all the loops that we or anybody use in the Python. Okay, so are we good with the basics, guys? If you have any doubts, let me know, or else we'll start digging into each one of these. Good. Okay, fine. So now let's see if statement. Okay, so these are conditional statements. Okay, these are conditional statements, these are iterative loops, these are transfer statements. Okay, so first let's see the first control flow, that is a conditional statement, that is if. Okay, so if, so I will just give you a basic understanding, and we will see examples. Okay, as the name suggests, and I hope you're already aware. So what does if do? If we'll just check a condition. Okay, if this is true, only then the control will enter, and it will do what all is written here. Okay, if the condition is false, there is no entry inside it. Okay, so that's the concept of if. Okay, it will check the condition, and inside that you can have one statement, you can have multiple statements, anything is possible. Okay, so but it will be checking the condition. That is simple if. Okay, after that you will have if else. Okay, so guys, I actually suggest you to make sure that you understand loops very well wherever you are missing the track, right? Because we'll be covering many concepts. Wherever you feel you missed 1 minute, or you are on not the track, just feel free to stop me and make sure you understand the concept, because you should be actually very good at loops. Okay, as I said, right? So if is that simple, check the condition. If it is true, go inside. If it is false, don't, you cannot go inside. Very simple. Now, there is one more. You will have a combination of if else. Else. Now, what is else? If this condition is true, do this. Else, do this. But for else, as you can think, you will not have any condition, right? Because if this is false, you are doing this means whatever you are doing, the contrary of this is will come to else. Okay. For example, if you are saying number equal to 5, number some n equal to 5, if that is a condition. If this is true, it will enter inside. Okay. If this is not true, that means whatever be the value of n, if at all it is not equal to 5, Okay, if at all number is not equal to 5, then okay, for example, I'm giving, let's say I'm giving 5. Okay, the condition here is to check n equal to 5, and you're taking the value as an input. Okay, from the user, you're asking enter some number. We already seen this, right? So user has entered number, let's say he has entered 5. So the requirement is 5 and user has entered 5. True, condition is satisfied. It will enter this. It will execute what all you are having here, and it will come out of this. But let's say apart from 5, whatever you enter, n equal to 6, 7, anything apart from 5, if you enter, then if the condition is if the if condition is false, it will execute the else condition. And for else, that's the reason for else, there is no condition needs to be written, because this condition itself, if this is false, it will enter this. That means if you enter 6, it will check is n equal to 5? No, n is not 5 because n equal to 6. So this condition is false. So immediately it will enter this and it will do what all you have written here. Okay. So that's why in if else combination, only one of will execute at any given time. You cannot execute both. Okay. You have only one. So if condition is true, then it will enter here, it will execute all this, and it will come out of this. Sorry. And it will come after this else condition, because if it executes if, as I said, it will not execute else. It will come out of and start whatever you write after else. Right? It will skip else. But if this condition is false, then it will execute else. It will not execute if, because this condition is false. Obviously, it cannot enter this. Okay, but then it will enter else. Okay, then it will enter else, and it will execute all this, and then the remaining part of the code remains unchanged. It will execute what all you are writing, but only between if and else. Okay, there will be a condition check, and based upon the condition, only one of these will execute, not both. No way it can execute both, because that's the concept of if and else. If this, do this, else do that. Okay, fine. Now, in between this if and else, there is one point you need to notice is else is not a mandatory. Okay, else is not a mandatory thing. You can just give if also. If condition, do this. That's it. Okay, and only if the condition is true, you will get this work done, or else you don't want anything, you can leave that as it is. There is no mandatory you need to give else. But sometimes, just if you want, if the condition is false, you can print else, and you can write something condition like, hey, condition is failed, something like that. Condition is failed, just as an error messages if you want to see, or in some scenarios you want to execute a task only if this condition is false. Okay, there will be many scenarios we'll be seeing. Okay, in that case you can write this, but as I said, else is not a mandatory thing. Okay, that is first point. But again, second important point is else cannot be written independently. It should always come with if. Okay, if can be used independently, okay, without else, but else should always have a combination of if. Getting? Because why? Because in else we are not checking any condition. The condition for else is coming from if. If is not there, then there is no condition, then there is no else, because there is no way you can check a condition. So else will always have a combination of if. That's the point, right? When I'm saying else, but what else? For what particular condition you are asking me else? Okay, if I don't know condition, how can I consider else? Right? That's the reason else should always be coming along with if. Okay, but if you are saying if, then there is no need to have else. If you want, you can take else. That's why there are three ways, as you can see, like there are two ways. So it can be only if, and it can be if else. Okay, there is no only else. There will not be only else. Okay, first it should start with the condition, that is if. Okay, if else. Is this clear, guys? Theory, we'll see the examples, but let me know whether this concept is clear, or else you can just chat, put in the chat like it's not clear, then we can see this again, no issues. Okay, then I hope, yeah, I think we are good. Now, there is one more concept. Okay, there is one more concept between this if and else. Okay, if and else, you have one more concept called as elif. Okay, we'll have one more concept sometimes, elif. That means what? If initially what we have seen, see, this is important because many people will understand if and else, but they think elif is also similar to else, but that's not. It's completely different. See, we understood if condition is there, okay, and if condition is true, what we'll do? You will come and execute this, okay. If it is else, will that means what? If condition is false, else means what? Condition is. I'm not writing. We will not check condition, but just for your understanding, I'm saying condition is false. We'll execute this. Okay, that's fine. But sometimes you want to check multiple conditions, right? What does that mean? See, sometimes what you want to check is if, okay, let's say you are checking state. Okay, just I'm simply giving an example. There is one way state. Okay, state equal to if state equal to Telangana, for example, if state equal to Telangana, you are printing print. Okay, if state equal to Telangana, I am printing KCR. Okay, if at all I just want to use else I'll print no CM. Okay, example. Okay, just in if and else condition. That means what? And I will take this state from user. So I'll just ask. I'll create a variable called as state, and there I'll give input. Please enter state name. I'll ask. He will enter. User will enter and this state. If at all he is entering Telangana, okay, then state equal Telangana is matching. It will enter. It will print KCR. Okay, point one. Point two is if he entered Chennai. Okay, for example, Tamil Nadu. If he has entered Tamil Nadu. Now it will come, it will check state. Okay, you should give double equal to for checking. Okay, for state equal to Tamil Nadu, no, this state is Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu equal to Telangana, no, this is not true. Okay, then what you will do? You will not enter this. Then where it will enter? It will enter else because if is fail, else will enter. It will print no CM. Okay, this is clear. We understood. But sometimes you want to check multiple conditions. That means what? If the state is Telangana, print KCR. Or one more condition you want to check. Elif, then elif will come. Elif means what? Else if. It's a shortcut of else if. Again, one more condition. If state is Goa, then I'll print enjoy. Okay. Then if one more condition I want to check. Elif. Okay. State equal to okay. Tamil Nadu. Then I'll print temple. Okay. Like that. Else for else, as I said, no condition. I will print sit at home. Okay. Now see. Now this is a bit different. Now what's happening in first step? You are based upon the input this guy is giving. Based upon if he gives Telangana, we will check. Okay, state is Telangana. I will print KCR. This gets printed. Okay, this gets printed. Now instead of Telangana, if he enters Goa, I am using again. We can check that using elif. So if this condition is true, do this. Or if you want to check another condition, instead of just simple if and else, I want to check multiple conditions. Okay. If this is true, do this. Else, if this is not true, then it will come and check next condition. Okay. If this is true, okay. If this is true, If state is Goa, then it will print this. Else it will again check for one more condition. If this is true, this. If none of this is matching, then it will come and execute this. Okay. So here, instead of checking one condition, we can check multiple conditions like at a time. Okay. So if this is true, then print this. Else, again, it will check one more condition. If this is true, then do this. Okay. Then do this. If this is true, then do. If none of this is working, then simply go to the else if no condition is matching. For example, if I enter Mumbai, so you don't have anywhere Mumbai, then it will completely come into else and it will execute this statement. If at all any particular state is matching over here, it will enter that particular block. Either it might enter if or elif, this elif. Okay, it might do that. Okay, we'll see examples, then you will understand better. But high level, you should understand there is a combination of if, elif, and else. In this, there are like two very important points you should always remember. In if elif, if else elif, in if elif else, if will always occur only once. Okay, because the first statement will be only if. After that, elif can occur any number of times. Elif can occur, you can write 100 elifs. Elif. That means else if. Okay, elif. Okay, you can write any number of elifs, this elifs. And else can occur 0 or 1. That means here also else is not mandatory. Like we have seen in simple if else scenario, else is not mandatory, right? Here also, you can simply write if, elif, and you can skip else. Else is why we are using else only if all the conditions are not matching, none of the conditions are matching, then we want something to execute by default. That's why you're using else, but it's not a mandatory. Okay, so that's why you can, if you want to use, yeah, you can use, and else will be used only once. If you don't use also, it's okay, it's not a syntax error. Okay, it's not a mandatory. So at high level, what you can understand here is if and else, these two are can be used only once. Okay, and in that also, if is a mandatory thing, because every statement should start with if in this combination, and else is not a mandatory thing. You can use or you cannot use, but if you are using, you can use it only once. So if and else will be used only once, and if will be always at the top and else will be always at the bottom. Inside that, if you want to use elif, you can use elif, then it will become if elif else combination. Or if you don't want to use also, that's fine. So you can directly say if else, or you can direct, or if you want, you can say if elif else. Okay, so these are the different combinations which we'll be seeing. Okay, so the important point here is else can be used any number of times, but else can, elif can be used any number of times, but else can be used at most once if at all it is required, or else you don't need to use that. Okay, so this is the overall concept. As I said, elif is used to check only if this statement is false, right? Only if this statement is false, okay, then it will come and check this condition. Okay, if this is false, then it will come and check this condition. Okay, so this is different. We will see when you're seeing examples, we will see, right? So this is how you can check multiple conditions, okay, using elif, and finally, if you want, you can use else. Okay, so is the theory, are we good with the theory, guys? Okay, okay, fine. So now let's see, there will be different combinations as I said. So now just tell me valid or not valid. So can I use only if? Hello. Hello, guys, I'm asking. So can I use only if without any else? Only if works.
Yes, sir, it works.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If else,
Yes, sir.
only else.
No.
No.
Okay. So can I use if else?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. How can we use if two times?
If under if nested loops.
Oh, you're going to nested loops. Fine. So no, that we'll come to that. We'll come to nested loops, but without nested loops.
No.
Normal loops.
No, sir. If elif else we can use.
Okay. If elif else. Okay. And here you can without else also you can write if elif. Okay. That's it. So now we'll see few examples for this and where you will understand. Okay. For example, if you see here the basic if example, what we are having, if x equal to minus 5, sorry, we are giving x equal to minus 5, and I'm saying if x is greater than 0, print x, print hi darshan, okay, and print out of statement. So here what we are doing, one is, see, yeah, so one is we have initialized a variable x. After that, the condition you are checking, if this condition is true, it will enter this. Okay, this particular block is called if block. Okay, what all you are writing, the indentation is important. As you can see, the indentation for these two is more, the spaces are more. So these two lines comes under if block. Okay, so the system will also understand. How the system will understand only these two lines should belong to if? It's by indentation. So wherever you are giving a space and writing inside this if block, right, that it will understand, okay, this is a, these two belongs to if. So this is in if block. And this print statement, it does not belongs to if block. This is a normal code, part of the regular code. So now if you see, if x is greater than 0, that means you're checking the condition. If it is true, it will enter. So x equal to minus 5. Okay, is minus 5 greater than 0? No, false. That's the reason it did not enter here. It did not enter here. Okay, that if complete if 2, 3, 4 are the if block. 2 is a condition, 3 and 4 are its statements. So from 2 to 4, this is a if block, and this is skipped because the condition is failed. So this is skipped. But as I said, the remaining part of the code will be executed as it is. That's why you can see 5 is executed out of if statement. Clear? But if I write x equal to 5, see, x equal to 5, then it will enter. Okay, 5 is greater than 0. Statement is true. It will enter. Print x, print 5, print hi darshan, and out of if statement. And after that, this 5 will execute in any scenario because 5 is not a part of if block. Even if the condition is true, condition is false, it will execute because this is not dependent on any condition. But the only thing is these two statements, these are dependent on this particular condition. Okay, only if the condition is true, this will execute. If the condition is false, this will not execute. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys are following. Okay. So after that, let's see this example. If else, you are giving a condition. So you are giving a variable x equal to 5. Okay. If x, okay, modulus 2 equal to 0. Okay. That means what? Reminder. You remember x modulus, this is reminder. So if 5 divided by 2 remainder equal to 0, For which numbers remainder will be 0? Even numbers, obviously. For odd numbers, the remainder will be 1. Right? Here, the remainder will be 0. Here, it will be 1. So, if this is 0, then you are printing x is even. Else, when it is else, you're not giving any condition as you see. That means if it is not equal to 0, then it will directly come over here and it will execute this. Then x will be odd. But if you want to write, you can also write it as if modulus of 2 equal to 1. Because when you divide any number by 2, the remainder will be either 0 or 1. Right? So that's the reason you can write this, or you can also write if x for odd numbers, you can write if x modulus 2 equal to 1. You can elif, you can also write that, but that's fine, because if this is false, obviously, if this is false, obviously it means that x modulus 2 is not equal to 0, will definitely mean that x modulus 2 equal to 1, because there are only two options, 0 or 1. Okay, so if this is failing, then it will directly enter the else block. Okay, so as we can see, x equal to 5. Now this is 5 modulus of 2, which is equal to 1. So it's not equal to 0, so this it will not enter here. So then it will directly enter the else block, and it is printing x is odd. Okay, and if you just see the way how you are printing x, you are not putting x in quotes, as we have seen in the print statement. So this will take the variable and will replace. So 5 is odd. Okay, so this is printed. And after that, the line number 6 is independent, as we have seen here. Okay, this is outside the indentation. So see, this print statement is at the same level of if and else. Okay, this is an indentation. So if it is at the same level, that means it is not inside that. So obviously it is not dependent on that. Only if it is inside this like this, that means this is dependent on if. So, but this is at the same level, the indentation. You can also understand by indentation. So if else print, all is the same indentation. So print is not dependent on anything. So it will print in any case. So if it is true, this will be printed, and then this. If it is false, then this will be printed, and again this. Okay. So now if I enter some 50, okay, now 50 divided by 2 will be 0. Now 50 will be this should be print, and after that, anyhow, this will be printed. Okay. 50 is even. Finally, I got it printed as even or odd number. Okay, so this is done. Now if you see in this scenario, x equal to, so can you tell me what we'll get, what value it will print here? Any guess? Guys,
No output.
So no output.
okay, good. So x equal to 2, if x is less than 0, print x. So 2 is not less than 0, so obviously it will not enter. But as you can see, there is no else condition. Okay, as we have discussed, there is no else condition, so it will stop here. So if you want, you can write here, and we'll say condition failed. Okay, then it will print condition failed. Okay, but as I said, it's not mandatory to write else condition. Even without else condition also, you can happily execute only if. Okay, but if you want, then you can consider and write an else condition. Okay, and next we are going to see, yeah, using this if and else conditions, you can solve a lot of problems. I would suggest you will have in W3 resources website, right? So you have at least 50 problems related to if and else. So try solving them, and that should be good. Actually, you will have a very good practice. And here, if you see x equal to 40, if x is greater than 35, print this, else print this. Okay, simple, which we have seen. Okay, so I hope you are good with if and else. So there should not be any difficulty in understanding if and else. Okay, now coming to if elif else. Okay, coming to if, elif, else. So as I said, we'll see an example. So here what we'll do, we are checking multiple conditions. So it will check if, okay, and again elif also you have one more condition. Okay, elif also you have one more condition, but else will not have any condition. It will execute if none of the if or elif blocks are executed. Okay, so now let's see. So you are saying x equal to 35 if x is greater than 35, printing this. If x is less than 35, you are printing this. Okay, else you are printing this. So when you're saying x equal to exactly 35, so obviously x is not greater than 35, it will not enter here. And x is also not less than 35, it will also not enter here. Then the only way we have is to enter the else block. Okay, then you are entering here. Okay, is this clear, guys? Now if I have, let's say x equal to 35, okay, here if I give x is greater than or equal to 35, and here if it is x equal to 35, see, it has executed this particular block. See, what I want to show here is, I'm writing wantedly same condition, x equal to 35 and x equal to 35. Okay, but here I'll take one more example and I will show you it. This is condition 0, this is condition 1, this is condition 2. Okay, okay, so I'll also show you. Yeah, so you'll understand better. See, when you are writing if, elif, else, right? What happens is first it will check the if condition. Okay, if it is true, it will execute this. Okay, and it will come out of this if and else, complete if and else scenario. Okay, just to show you, I'll print something. We have come up. Okay, see, I have given 35, x equal to 35, it is checking, it is true, it will enter, it is printing, fine. After that, there is no need to check this, because what is this elif? Elif means else if. That means if this condition is false, then come and check this. If it is true, then it will not check. Okay, if it is true, it will not check. That means what? At any given time, one of these will get executed. Okay, at any given time, one of this will get executed. So if you see, initially if this condition is true, the condition is satisfied. Okay, then obviously it will come out of this if and else. It will print what is written after the complete if, elif, else scenario. Okay, then it will print this one. But in some cases, let's say I am printing 36. Okay, now let's say I'm printing 36 over here. Then what happens? See, first it is checking 36 equal to 35. No, that means this condition is failing. Because that condition is failing, it is entering this. Because why? What is the meaning of this elif? Meaning is else if. That means if this condition fails, check this. I'm checking this. X equal to 36, 36 equal to 36. Yes, it will enter this, and it is printing condition 1 statement, condition 1. Once that is done, once it has entered a particular elif or if condition, then again it will not check this, because what is the meaning of this elif? Only if this condition fails. Okay, but if one of the condition is true, obviously there is no need to enter check again. Then what it will do, it will come out of this and will print this. Okay. Okay. So in this way, for example, similarly, what we can do is, I'm having, as I said, okay, amount equal to int of, see, int of input, enter your amount. I'm saying after that, if I'll simply put a, okay, a is, if a is greater than, okay, 100, for example, print by mobile, okay, elif a is greater than, okay, 1000, right? Then print by car, and if a is greater than 3000, print by house, else first n. Okay. Now if this is a simple if case which you have seen, now if I enter the money, okay, now let's say if I enter 20, right, what it will print? Just do some guesses, we'll see.
First earn money.
Okay, first statement. Okay. Now if I print 120,
Buy mobile.
by mobile, right? Now if I print like 15, 2000,
Buy car.
why? It will always start from the first, right? Try to understand. It will always start with the first condition. So when you're giving 2000, right? When you're giving the 2000, first it will check here. A is greater. First it will check if condition, right? 2000 is greater than 100. Yes, it is greater than 100. You getting? I expected you will say car, but see, it will always start with if condition. Only if condition is failing, then it will enter elif. Only if this is failing, then it will enter this. Okay. So then you can write here, if a is greater than 100 and less than some 500, okay, then, oh, sorry, what is greater than 100 and less than 5. Okay, so if I print 200, so we are getting mobile. Now if I print, as you said, 2000, you'll get car. Did you understand that, Sirisha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, so fundamentally it should always flow through the loop. So first it will consider this condition. Only if this condition is false, it will enter here. Only if this condition is false, it will enter here. Only if this condition is false, it will enter. Right? So that's the reason. See, when I give a value over here, Okay. So now if I enter some 2000, it will enter car. Okay, because this condition is failing, it will enter here. And if I enter some 75, this it will 7 lakhs 5,000, it will enter buy house. So first it will start with this condition. So only one of this will execute, either this or this or this. Okay, one of this will execute. So only, and also main important thing is it is going to check this elif. If this fails, only it will check this only if this fails. If it is entering any one of this block, right? So then you should understand it has executed one of this block, and it will just come out and print whatever you have written after else. It will not execute else also. Okay. If I just enter 10, what it will print?
Earn money.
Correct. Okay. Now if I enter 500, what it will print?
First earn money.
First 10 money.
Mm.
Others agree? Okay. Right. You'll get first 10 money, because here it is checking only a is less than 500. But if it is equal to 500, then there is no condition. So if there is no condition, it will come and execute else. If I don't give else, Sirisha, then if I enter 500, now what will happen? Or Meghana, Nikhila?
Okay.
No.
Output.
No output. Correct. Okay, we have seen no output. So I hope you understood, like, if and elif. Okay, if and elif and else condition. So as I said, you can have multiple elifs, but there is no mandatory for else. Okay, but if should be always starting one. And the condition is it will always go follow the, like, top down approach. So it is going to check each and every condition, and only if that condition is false, it will go and check the other condition. That is the concept of elif. That's in other words, we are saying else if, else if, else if. Okay. So if this condition is false, then go to next, then go to next. And using this you can write multiple problems. Simply we can solve. Okay, for example, let's say if you're having input, enter, uh, okay, first number, okay, second number, third number. Okay, if you just want to find out the biggest maximum of these three numbers, what you can do, see, if you can get multiple conditions. If n1 is greater than n2, right, and n1 is greater than n3, okay, then what? If n1 is greater than this and that, then obviously what we are going to print, n1 is the biggest. Agree? elif elif okay, elif, see, the three numbers for n1 is greater than n2, and also n1 is greater than n3, then obviously n1 is the biggest. But if this is false, if this is false, means what? This first condition is also, this n1 is less than n2. Okay, if n1 is less than n2, what does this mean? That means n2 is greater than n1. Okay, that means second number is greater than first number. That is proved. But we don't know if second number is greater than third number. We don't know n2 is greater than or n3. We don't know. Okay, we'll check this. Here what we'll check, elif n2 is greater than n3. Okay, then print n2 is biggest. Okay, else here, in this, if this is true, n1 is the biggest. If this is true, n2 is the biggest. Else if both are false, then obviously you don't need to write any condition at all. You can just say else print n3 is biggest. Okay, so now whatever, invalid. Okay, sorry, what did I miss?
Input.
Of input.
int of input of. Okay, second, and we have third. Okay, so some number like 10, 8, 9. Okay, n1 is the biggest. Okay, so here you can also print n1, right? So obviously we have that. You can print n2, you can print n3, 44, 12, 3. Okay, 44, that is n1 is the biggest. Okay, so here obviously, as I said, so first it will check this condition. Only if this is false, it will come and enter second. So how that will happen? Some 12, 36, 8, right? So 36 is the biggest. So in this first scenario, n1 greater than n2, that means 12 greater than 36. No, it is failing. So it is, this condition is fail. Only then it will enter this condition. Okay, then it is checking n2 greater than n3, which here we don't need to check again n1, n2, because here is already approved. So n2 greater than n3, that means 36 greater than 8. Yes, so it will enter here. It is printing. Then there is no need to enter else condition. Okay, but if everything is false, 10, 20, 30. So this is false. This is false. Obviously, it should enter n3, and n3 is the biggest. Okay, so did you guys understand the concept? Any doubts, guys, actually? Or is it, yeah, I think you might be somewhat already familiar, but I think this might be more helpful for you. Okay, and you, as I said, you can write multiple elif conditions. You can write, so you can just think of uh, this scenarios, right? So this is, concept will always be simple, but the scenarios can be like many, right? So for, you can think of, you can actually simply try to write a program yourself. You don't need to go check anywhere. For example, just a simple example, you can write, take input from the user, ask his education qualification, right? So here you can just ask him, enter your qualification. Okay, and here you can also say 10th or inter or btech. Okay, you should enter one of these three, and based upon that you can write a simple condition. Okay, if this n2 is what, you can write a qualification variable. If qualification equal to 10th, print salary is low. Here, if qualification equal to inter, salary is moderate. If, then you will print elif, right? Simple example, so you can easily execute this. And if qualification is btech, okay, then you can write that btech in elif also, as an elif, or in else also, right? You getting, you can see, you can use if 10th, elif, inter. If you want, if at all he is entering only these three, if strictly he is entering only these three, like 10th, inter, btech, then what you can do, you can simply uh, write else, right? See, try to understand, this is important. Try to understand in which scenarios you will use else, and in which scenarios you will not use else. Because see, there are two ways. Okay, so if at all you're asking him to enter, yeah, we'll take this example and we'll close. So for example, you are having the qualification, I'm asking to enter, okay, qualification, and it should be 10th or, okay, inter or, okay, some btech. Okay, now if qualification equal to 10th, I am printing low salary. Okay, if elif, what I will do, qualification equal to inter, no, again I will print qual moderate salary. This Risha and Meghna, is today off for you? Is it holiday?
No holiday, we are not going, sir.
Not going. Okay, great. So we'll take like 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. Okay. See here. See, try to understand. In this scenario, I want to print. I want to print BTech also, right? So what I will do? I can do this way. I can do this, right? So I will just use elif if qualification equal to btech. I will say high salary. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Now this one I will also do this. Okay, instead of doing this, try to understand. I will do this. Okay, now tell me, any one of you, that both I will get same. See here, I will show you. So if I okay, 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 see, now I'm entering 10. Oh, what happened? Enter 10. Okay, sorry, I'm using int, right? So when I'm using int, I cannot do that. Okay, fine. So, right, I'm using 10. 10 low salary, I got this, got executed. Fine. I am using inter moderate salary. This got executed. Fine. Okay. I'm using btech high salary. This got executed. Fine. Now come here. Here also, I'm using 10. This got executed. Clear. I'm using inter moderate salary. This got executed. And here I'm entering btech. This got executed. Btech high salary. That's fine. But here, if you see, I'm writing if elif elif. Here I'm using if elif else. Why? And can you just think like which is better way, and why I need to use else over here, or why only elif will also work? Like, just think and tell me like which what is the advantage of using it in two ways, or what is the advantage of using it else? Just give it a try. That's fine, even if it is false.
ఎలిఫ్ ఎలిఫ్ యూస్ చేస్తే మనం అక్కడ ఉన్న కండిషన్స్ మాత్రమే చూడగలుగుతాం కదా సార్, అంటే ఎక్స్ట్రా ఎర్రర్స్ ని అక్కడ చేయకుండా ఈజీగా ఉంటది. ఎల్స్ ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా నార్మల్ గా దీనిలో ఇంటర్ బీటెక్ కాకుండా ఏది టైప్ చేసినా కూడా అది ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ ఇఫ్
Yeah.
ఎలిఫ్ లో ఏమో ఓన్లీ సర్టెన్ కండిషన్స్, ఓన్లీ 10th ఇంటర్ బీటెక్ వరకే. ఇఫ్ యూ గివ్ అదర్ దెన్ 10th ఇంటర్ బీటెక్, ఇట్ గివ్ ఓన్లీ బ్లాంక్, నో ఎర్రర్, నో అవుట్పుట్.
Correct, Sirisha. Super. Correct. No. So as she said, correct. So ikkada ఈ elif లో ఇది ఓన్లీ ఇఫ్ ఎలిఫ్ అంటే ఇట్ విల్ ఈ కండిషన్స్ ట్రూ అయినప్పుడు మాత్రమే వర్క్ చేస్తుంది ఇది. ఓకే, అంటే ఇప్పుడు నేను సమ్ పీజీ ఇచ్చాను అనుకో, ఇట్ నాట్ అండర్స్టాండ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గివింగ్ యూ ఎనీ ఇన్పుట్, ఎందుకంటే దెర్ ఇస్ నో కండిషన్ టు చెక్ వెదర్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ పీజీ. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వై వెన్ వి విల్ యూస్ దిస్ ఇఫ్ ఎలిఫ్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాం? ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ వెరీ షూర్ దట్ ద పర్సన్ విల్ ఎంటర్ ఓన్లీ దిస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ త్రీ. ఓకే, ఖచ్చితంగా 10 ఇంటర్ బీటెక్ లో ఈ మూడిట్లో ఏదో ఒకటి ఎంటర్ చేస్తారు నమ్మకం ఉన్నప్పుడే వి విల్ రైట్ కండిషన్స్ ఫర్ ఓన్లీ దోస్ త్రీ, అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ఫైన్, వీఆర్ గుడ్. But sometimes due to error or due to some person, okay, if he is entering, okay, something other than that, then we will not have any output for that. Obviously, as you can see, దానికి సంబంధించిన అవుట్పుట్ లేదు. ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ ఎంటర్ ఎనీథింగ్. అప్పుడు ఏమనిపిస్తుంది మనకి? అప్పుడు ఏమనిపిస్తుంది? అరే, కోడ్ వర్క్ చేస్తలేదేమో అనిపిస్తుంది. ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే ఇన్పుట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు అవుట్పుట్ రాకపోతే వాట్ డస్ దట్ మీన్? ద కోడ్ ఇస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్, వి విల్ థింక్, right? But to handle any scenario, okay, whatever it is in our control, we will use if elif ఏదైతే మన కంట్రోల్లో లేదో we can just put that in else. Okay, so here you can do this, and here you can say ఇక్కడ మనము ప్రాంప్ట్ కూడా చేయొచ్చు, ప్రింట్ వ్యాలిడ్ క్వాలిఫికేషన్. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు మనం బీటెక్ ఇస్తే ఇట్ విల్ సే బీటెక్ హై సాలరీ. అదే ఒకవేళ మనము సమ్ పీజీ ఇస్తే We'll say print valid qualification. So our code is to just check for 10th or inter or btech. That is fine, but ఒక్కొక్కసారి users can enter anything they want. Okay, even if we enter anything, so to handle that, okay, we will use print valid. So ఇక్కడ మనకి ఒక indication వస్తుంది. Okay, he's entering something unnecessary. Okay, so this is a better and efficient way to always use an else condition. Okay, we will know like what is happening. Is our conditions are being met, satisfy అవుతున్నాయా అవ్వట్లేదా, ఎక్కడ ఉంది కంట్రోల్ అనేది మనకు అర్థమవుతుంది. బట్ if you are very sure you can use this, that's fine. So syntax wise everything is fine, both will give you same. But if you want to be more pythonic, then go for a perfect combination of if, elif else. Okay, this is a way how you can execute these things. Okay, so yeah, so I think we are good theoretically and practically with if else and if elif, right? And what do we have? If, elif, else, right? So these combinations I think we are good. Can I say that? Are we good with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So I hope we are good with these statements. And yeah, so let's see if we have something. Yeah, so if we have, so we'll just cover this nested conditions and we'll take a break for today. Okay, so as Shirisa was saying sometime before, so we also have nested if. What is that? So you can put if inside an if. Okay, you can put if inside an if. So here what we're doing, you're putting a condition. So you're checking condition. Okay, in else, okay, you can again put the condition, and it will have, you can have one more if and else scenario. Okay, so there are like a lot of cases are possible as you see. If, sorry, take this. Okay, so if inside that, again you can say if else block. Okay, and we will say else. Okay, now this if is, this is one if else combination, and this is one pair. Okay, this is one pair, this is one pair. Okay, and but the fundamental rules are exactly same. The same thing will apply. That means if the condition is true, it will enter here. Okay, and if this condition is true, it will enter this block and it will not enter this. Okay, and if this condition is false, it will not enter any of this, it will directly come and enter here. Okay, and you can also have multiple instead of having an if, you can have simply if some statements, and in else you can again have if else. Okay, and you can have if, elif, sorry, the indentation should be same, if, elif, and you can have if else, and you can come out, you can have one more elif, you can have else. Okay, and in else you can have if else, right? So there are different types of combinations you can come up with, and you should be a bit careful with the flow control, right? So if you write too many if and else conditions, right, you should be you should have a better understanding of the flow, like where it is going. Because, and also the pair should is important, because when you're writing this if and else is one pair, right? So if only if this condition fails, this will execute, or else this will not be executed, and that is the job of this pair. Okay, that is done. And if you're having this if, it will have, it is related to this if else pair. Okay, and this elifs are related to the main block, but you can have this elif inside this is if this if also, instead of having this else, right? So once you go into elif, you can have if, elif, elif. Okay, inside each if you can have one more thing. So it's just a nested combinations, and you can have anything in anywhere. Okay, so that is a theory. And if you see, for example, if you're having x equal to 35, if x equal to 35, enter this. Okay, else, inside else you can have one more if else combination. So if x is, if x equal 35, if it is not, then what? if x is less than 35, print x is less than 35. Okay. Else what? X equal to 35. Okay. See, if you pay attention, so what's happening here? X equal to 35. If x is greater than 35, this is done. Else, if this is false, what are the possible options we have? X is that x 35 కాకపోతే ఇంకేం ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి? x లెస్ దెన్ అన్న కావాలి ఆర్ x ఈక్వల్ టు 35 అన్న కావాలి. ఈ టూ ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా మనకి. సో అవే మనం ఇక్కడ చెక్ చేస్తున్నాం. అవి ఎల్స్ కండిషన్. ద మూమెంట్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ కమింగ్ టు ఎల్స్, దట్ మీన్స్ ఇది ఫెయిల్ అయింది అంటే ఇదన్న కావచ్చు, ఇదన్న కావచ్చు, లెస్ దెన్ అన్న. ఆ టూ కండిషన్ చెక్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఇఫ్ x ఈక్వల్ టు 35, if x లెస్ దెన్ 35 ఇది చేస్తున్నాం. ఎల్స్ ఒకవేళ ఇది కూడా కాదు అంటే మనకి ఆప్షన్ ఇది ఒకటే ఉంది, మనం ఇది చేస్తాం. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ హౌ వి ప్రింటింగ్. దీంట్లో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ సి ఎల్స్ బదులు మీరు స్పెసిఫిక్ గా చెక్ చేయాలంటే ఇంకొక ఎలిఫ్ కూడా రాయొచ్చు. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఫెయిల్ అయిందంటే ఎక్స్ ఇస్ గ్రేటర్ దెన్ 35 కాదు, ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఫెయిల్ అయిందంటే ఎక్స్ ఇస్ లెస్ దెన్ కూడా కాదు. లెస్ దెన్ కాదు, గ్రేటర్ దెన్ కానప్పుడు ఏంటి? ఈక్వల్ టు అవుతుంది కదా. అప్పుడు ఎక్స్ ఈక్వల్ టు 35, మనం 35 ఇస్తున్నాం కదా. సో అప్పుడు అది చెక్ చేయడానికి ఎలిఫ్ కూడా యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. సో అంటే మనము ఈ ఇఫ్ ఎలిఫ్ ఏదైతే కాంబినేషన్ నేర్చుకున్నామో, ఇఫ్ ఎలిఫ్ ఎల్స్, అది మళ్ళీ ఈచ్ ఇఫ్ లో పెట్టొచ్చు, ఎలిఫ్ లో పెట్టొచ్చు, ఎల్స్ లో పెట్టొచ్చు, దేంట్లోనన్నా పెట్టి మనం డిఫరెంట్ డిఫరెంట్ కాంబినేషన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ చూస్తే సి ఇక్కడ ఇఫ్ అండ్ ఎలిఫ్ కాంబినేషన్ మనకి ఎల్స్ లో ఉంది. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ సేమ్ ఇఫ్ అండ్ ఎల్స్ కాంబినేషన్ మనకి ఇఫ్ లో ఉంది. ఓకే, యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ దిస్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ ఇఫ్, యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ ఓవర్ హియర్, అండ్ ఎల్స్ ఇస్ సింపుల్. ఆర్ యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ దిస్ వే ఆల్సో. ఇఫ్ లో నీకు ఎలిఫ్, ఇఫ్ లో ఇఫ్ అండ్ ఎల్స్ ఉండొచ్చు, ఎల్స్ లో అగైన్ యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఇఫ్ అండ్ ఎల్స్. ఓకే, ఇట్ డిపెండ్స్ అపాన్ యువర్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అండ్ హౌ యూ వాంట్ టు టేక్ దట్. Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll start the class with few examples of nested if. Okay, I'll show one or two more examples of nested if, and then we will go for the next flow control, that is for loop and while loop. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, I hope we had good knowledge theoretically and practically on if అంటే తెలుసు, if else, elif తెలుసు, and nested if also. Same concept with the nested if, nothing more. You just need to be మోర్ కేర్ఫుల్గా ఉండాలి. ఫ్లో అనేది ఏ పర్టికులర్ ఇఫ్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది, ఏ పర్టికులర్ ఎల్స్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది, ఏ పర్టికులర్ ఎలిఫ్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది అనేది. విల్ సీ ఫ్యూ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ టుమారో. అండ్ దాని తర్వాత వీల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఫర్ అండ్ వైల్ లూప్, విచ్ ఆర్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్, అండ్ బ్రేక్, కంటిన్యూ, పాస్. ఓకే, వన్స్ వీఆర్ గుడ్ విత్ దిస్, దెన్ ఐ థింక్ వీఆర్ గుడ్ విత్ మెనీ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, సో ఐ థింక్ వీఆర్ గుడ్ ఫర్ టుడే. సో ఎనీ డౌట్స్ గైస్? We are able to understand, right? So I hope you followed today class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine then. I think we are good, and yeah, so we can meet tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow.